Today's episode is going to look at one of the most critical club officer roles in a club in Toastmasters, the Vice President Education, or VPE. The VPE is the person that schedules members' speeches, verifies educational milestones, and serves as a resource for questions about the education program, speech contests, and club mentor program. It's their job to become familiar with all the aspects of Toastmasters, as they are an important source of Toastmasters knowledge for club members. VPEs create meeting agendas, ensuring all roles are properly filled, and distribute the agenda prior to meetings. They get new members started on their pathway and then monitor member progress and encourage all members to continue progressing in their chosen pathway. They celebrate when members reach pathway milestones. The VPE plans the annual club speech contest, making sure that everything is run in accordance with the speech contest rulebook. They may also manage the mentor program. However, in some clubs, this may be done in conjunction with or even by the vice president membership or a designated committee member. The VPE steps in for the club president when they are absent and represents the club at area and district meetings. So let's dive in and have a chat to a current Vice President Education about this role and how they use it to support their club. Joining us today to talk about the role of Vice President Education, which you'll see abbreviated as VPE, is Clyde Cruz. Welcome, Clyde, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Charlene.
Now, Clyde, can we start with an easy one? If you can tell us what your home club is, and we all think our home club is the best club in Toastmasters, what makes that true for your club?
My home club is Down Under Toastmasters, and I think it is the best because we have built this culture of going above and beyond. And every club officer is looking to do something more within their roles. And I love that culture built in our club. And I feel like our club is the best because I haven't really seen a lot of clubs go above and beyond within their roles.
Yeah. So have you been a member of other clubs in the past or presently to have that comparison, or is this just what you've seen from other people that you know?
I've recently joined Leading Edge, which is an advanced club, and they do go above and beyond too. But within like normal clubs, yeah, I think our club is the best.
And how long have you been a Toastmaster for?
I have been a Toastmaster for about 4 years in July, so it's been a while.
Yeah. And back 4 years ago, what was it that prompted you to find out more about Toastmasters and join Toastmasters?
So throughout my younger years, I had a list, so I couldn't say S properly, and when I got it fixed, I had this like newfound confidence, but I didn't really know how to communicate because I really wasn't trying to communicate back then because I was so shy and embarrassed. And when I got it fixed, I wanted to learn how to communicate to people and tell my story and just relate to more people.
Excellent. And that is one of the best reasons for joining Toastmasters, communication skills. That's what it's all about. So you've joined to develop those skills, but then you've stepped into club officer roles and VPE. Why is being a VPE the best job in Toastmasters?
DP is the best role in Toastmasters because you have the biggest impact, not only in your members' growth, but also when you have visitors come in, they can see the product of Toastmasters, which is the meeting, and you have direct impact on how the meeting is formed and played out. So I think it's the best because of those reasons.
Yeah, cool. I love it too. I am currently a VPE. I love, yeah, that you get to know all your members so well and what their goals are and what they're wanting to get out of Toastmasters. But like you say, that product. So when you say you influence that product, you work with members. What do you actually do in this role? What does those actions actually look like? What do you the physical things that you do?
As a BPE, I spend some time creating the product, creating the agenda. So after a meeting, I would spend 15 minutes to edit it, update it on whoever's an apology or absent and whoever changed roles. And then I would spend another 15 minutes to create the next meeting. And when I know a member's goals, for example, they want to improve their impromptu speaking, I would remove their name from the agenda so that they can get more time uh, doing table topics. So that's one of the impacts you can have as a VPE. You can actively guide their experience within the club.
Yeah, that's so cool. So you said there about 15 minutes, just tidying up the meeting that's happened to the agenda, a good 15 minutes or so planning the next one. So that would be fortnightly. Is that
Yep.
kind of the time commitment, or is there a bit more than that? And are there any specific times of the month or year that certain jobs have to be done?
So on average, I would spend like an hour a month. So that's 15 minutes 4 times like weekly, just to edit and just to plan ahead. So when I have some free time, I would spend more time on it and be more organized and perfect little things. That's one of the fun things about VPE is that you get to make the agenda, and when you print it, you can make it look however you want it to. So yeah,
Yeah. So it certainly sounds like there is kind of a minimum amount of time that you do need to put in to create those things, but extra time to make it even better.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. And that sounds like there's a lot of sort of scheduling and coordinating and tracking involved in that. How do you keep across that? Like, how do you know, gosh, when did that member last have a speech? Or I know they want to do this. When did they last get an opportunity to do that?
Yeah. So we do have a forward planner, and I plan 4 weeks ahead. So that means I get more time in advance, and my members get a lot of notice within for their speeches. And also we've been doing that for a long time, and I can just look back and see when a member did their last speech or when a member did a particular uh, role in in the club. So it's very easy when you have a forward planner, and you can just keep checking it and just see how your members are moving within the club.
Yeah, cool. Do you have conversations at some point with your members to get that information of what they're wanting to get out of Toastmasters? Is that something you do through conversations, surveys, getting to know inside meetings, outside meetings? How do you develop that relationship with your members so that you do know what they're looking for?
I put up a questionnaire about their goals and how much time, how often they want to do speeches, and what they want to focus on, who their role model is in terms of public speaking. So I have those information as well. And also, I would speak to them every time after a meeting ends. We would have like a quick conversation, and I would point them in a certain directions if they have a specific goal or they change their goals. So there's a lot of conversations happening, and I have some data as well to look at from them.
So we've definitely heard here about that communication skills and that one-on-one communication, really being able to know what people want.
Yeah.
We've heard a little bit about organizing, having trackers, those sorts of things. What other skills and knowledge can someone expect to use or develop or learn in the role as Vice President Education?
I think the biggest one would be organizational skills, right? Because it's pretty much what the job is. You coordinate a lot of things. And I found that being organized in my role as PPE, it really transfers a lot in many areas of my life. Another thing would be it's not a skill, but it's like I've become more of a perfectionist in a way. So really looking at that tiny detail, and it's a really good skill to have. Well, I'm
Yeah,
in
so
town.
that
Like,
that attention to detail.
yeah.
You mentioned there about the skills you've developed going over into other parts of your life. Would you mind sharing a little bit more about that with us?
Yes, so I'm a clerical in my job, and there's a lot of paperwork happening. There's a lot of screens because I would look at maybe 10 windows, and I know, and you really need to look at the details. And once I got to that role, I thought it was gonna be hard at first, but because of my skills that I've developed through VPE, it was really easy to take on, and I've created an organized system to learn and also to do my jobs. So that's one of the benefits I've received personally.
So those skills that you've developed as VP really directly related to you
Yeah,
being able to take on a new role at work and
yeah,
know what you need to know to be able to put systems in place to really succeed at that role, it sounds like.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. The role of VPE is often talked about as the one that has the heaviest workload. You have to do the most. It sounds like you've got some really great systems in there that it's not a massive amount of time. But are there other club officers and other people within your club that you lean on or work with as well?
We have some members that have been in Toastmasters for a long time, so they would come in and help as well. The biggest thing I need help with usually is when people call in for, uh, when they put in an apology, like last minute, and my club officers and members, they're really happy to jump in. So that's the problem that I come across with in terms of like organizing the agenda and running a meeting. And my members are really happy to jump in anyway. So
Yeah, cool. I find one of the roles within VPE as well, with helping people achieve their goals and progress in Toastmasters, is making sure they're progressing through their pathway and they're engaging in their pathway and base camp. So, as VPE, you need to know a lot of stuff about a lot of stuff.
mm.
What would you say to someone who's thinking about this role and maybe questioning whether they have all that knowledge already?
Well, jumping into this role, I wasn't really sure that I have all those knowledge as well. But I think it's just knowing where to point at. So there's already a lot of systems and resources built by many people. You just need to know where to point at. For example, Toastmasters International, we have the Club Up project, which is very useful, and printing stuff out um, ahead of time to give to new members, so you don't have to worry too much about it. So recently, we just started the club mentoring program. We're gonna have some of the members become a mentor to new members coming into the club, and that really takes up a lot of stress from the VPE because they will teach them the roles in the club, speeches, um, table topics, warm ups, those kind of things, and it really makes your job way easier as a VPE.
Yeah. I do love the mentoring within Toastmasters, especially when it's done well. And I would say to people, though, mentoring is not necessarily just for new members either. We
Yeah,
have some very experienced members who have mentors for particular areas and particular things they want to grow. And also, when you're a club officer, one of the best things I think you can do is find someone who's done it before and have them as a mentor to help you and guide you and answer questions as well. It's one of the things I love about Toastmasters. There's always someone there ready to jump in and help you.
yeah.
If someone was considering this role, is there anything else that you would tell them? Any advice you would give them with regards to their consideration of taking on this role?
My advice would be to really take ownership of your role as the vice president of education and care the most about your members, because when they win within their journey and growth, you win with them the most. So that's one of my advice, to really care about them.
I love that. I love that. I have to say that is one of my favorite things about being VPE is you really get to see other people kick their goals, and that's
Exactly. Yeah.
pretty awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Has there been something that you weren't expecting about the role of VPE that came as a bit of a surprise when you came into it?
Well, I really hated sheets back then, Excel, how do you create the agenda. So I'm a word guy. I like just typing my stories. But when I came into the VP role, I thought I was going to hate it because there's so many, yeah, documents you have to look at, like in sheets. But I enjoy it. It gives me a lot of pressure now when everything is planned out. And I never thought I would be that kind of guy. I'm like, I was surprised.
I love that. So you've really learned something about yourself
Yeah,
there
exactly.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. And it's linking back to when you were talking earlier about that job where you've got multiple windows and lots of
Yeah.
planning. It sounds like that's really dovetailed. That success in Toastmasters has really dovetailed into being able to do that. So
Yes.
that's really awesome. Is there something in your time as being VPE that really stands out as one of your favorite moments or a key takeaway about being Vice President Education?
It's not a moment, but moments for me because I created this. Everyone's aware of the DCP, and this one
Yep.
is my version of the DCP. I call it the Board of Fame. And when you complete a level, instead of just me putting your name on a DCP, which I also do, I also get I'll call them up to the front of uh, the club, and they get to draw something that relates to how they achieve their goals at that level. For example,
Mm.
someone is drawing a book, Thomas with a fish. I drew a building, so it relates to like our last speeches to complete that project. So that's my favorite moments as VPE. It's really fun.
I love that. And does that board go to all your meetings then?
Yeah, I bring this to every meeting, and and I would show it to everyone, especially put it right next to the supper so everyone can talk
Yeah.
about it.
Excellent. And I love that way of celebrating the success of your members as they move through as well. That's really, really awesome.
Yeah,
Because I know, we'll often mention it, and obviously, people will get their certificate and those sorts of things, but having that ongoing, really visual representation, I think that's really fun and really cool.
yeah,
And you talked there about the DCP or the Distinguished Club Program. Just in case there is anyone who's not 100% sure about what that is, the Distinguished Club Program is about clubs meeting certain goals within Toastmasters. And that's just around some membership goals, some admin type tasks that need to be done by certain times, as well as that members are reaching educational goals and that they're progressing through their pathways, which really is a key part of what the Vice President Education tracks. Any final thoughts you would like to leave us with to encourage anyone who might be listening to this to put their hand up and say, yes, I'll be a VPE? This sounds like a really rewarding and fantastic role to take on.
if you are wanting to take your walk in Toastmasters like to the next level, you want to be more involved and help your members and help yourself go to that next level. I think VPE is absolutely the best club officer role to take on.
I think it's one of the great club officer roles to show leadership as well, and to show that you're on that leadership journey. And certainly, if you're looking for promotions at work and those kinds of things, it's a really great one with the skills you develop as well. So, if our conversation today has perhaps prompted you to think, maybe VPE does sound kind of cool to take on, have a chat with your current club executive, your president or current vice president education. I'm sure they'll be more than happy to give you more information and to have that conversation with you.